Hello everyone and welcome to a Nerd to the Wise podcast, episode 2. I am Nathaniel Hine as always and joined by the amazing, outstandingly and devilishly good looking Lewis Hardy.
Hello everyone.
So, episode 1's been out now for a week.
Yeah, this is a week later. Definitely not 2 minutes later.
How was the process of filming a podcast? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I think to begin with I was thinking this is going to be... It felt like an interview. I was coming, I was prepared, I was like, okay, let's nail this. But yeah, as it went on, just like chatting to a bud.
Ultimately, that's the thing. People might not know this, but some of them will. But me and Lewis are literally childhood best friends.
Our legions of fans know this.
And
I've known you for a lot of years, man.
I mean, we're both 28, and we've known each other probably since we were like 5, maybe around that time. So
yeah.
I can't think of anyone I'd rather do this with because it's such a free-flowing conversation because it's your best friend at the end of the day. It's the person who you're closest to.
Friends.
Oh, friends.
Fucking friends.
I really enjoyed the filming process. I've really enjoyed editing it, even though it was stressful at times, and I've really enjoyed uploading it. So hopefully the reception for this episode is as good as the first. Last week, our structure went pretty much out the window. We didn't cover half of what we were going to talk about because of how much we enjoyed it.
Yeah.
We did have a structure for this episode, and it was going to be more based around film adaptations. But now we're just going to just make it a mash of all things nerdy again. Jump between a few things. There is going to be no structure. We might jump from TV to film to game to comic to back to Marvel to Walking Dead or whatever. It's going to be a surprise. We'll just go with the flow. We're just here to talk about things we enjoy and things we're passionate about. So
I would actually just like to say, going back to the earlier points about doing the podcast, like I said before, we haven't seen each other for... I've probably seen you about maybe 4 times as generous in this past year. Yeah. Maybe twice? I can't remember. Maybe 2 or 3 times. So this is actually a good opportunity just to sit down and have a chat with my friend.
This is it though. We now, because of this, because we have... Not like we didn't have a reason to, before, but now we have an actual... It's not a job, it's a hobby, but it's something we have to do regular, that we have to spend time with each other.
We actually have to spend time with each other.
But it's a pleasure to do so. It's not an effort.
Yeah.
It's such a pleasure to spend time with you. Right, we can talk about this. I will start this with the talk of film adaptations and TV show adaptations, mainly from the genres of book and game and comic, not from TV to film or things like that. I'm not talking from written and gaming scriptures to film. Later this month, I do not know when this episode is released, so it might be released after the first episode, but we have something I really enjoy, a TV show coming out on Amazon called Invincible. And for those of you who don't know, and Lewis is looking at me like he doesn't know,
Gormless as always.
This is a TV show based on the Skybound comic of the same name, Invincible. And for those of you who don't know who Skybound are, they are most famous for The Walking Dead. It's the same writers, the same producers. Amazon has picked up the show. Skybound has had 2 of its comics already released onto TV platforms. 2 adaptations already. One, we all know as The Walking Dead. And the second is a TV show called Outcast. For those of you who live in the UK, it is available on Fox UK. It is great. I believe there's 2 seasons out already and soon to be a 3rd. It's more horror-based than The Walking Dead, believe it or not, but it is worth checking out. I won't go into too many things about it because I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't. We will talk about spoilers of some things here, so I do warn you about that now.
Spoiler warning.
But I want to talk about Invincibles more because I feel like this is going to be, and I wrote this in my notes, the next best TV adaptation. This is why I want to make this the main focus talking point. So, for those of you who don't know anything about Invincible, it is about a young boy called Mark Grayson. He just seems like a normal teenager who goes to school, etc. But the only difference is he is the son of Nolan, the world's most powerful superhero on the planet. Shortly after his 17th birthday, Mark begins to develop his own powers and enters to become his father's number 2 and goes under his father's tutelage. So it's a story about a boy who is related to the greatest superhero on Earth, and he's now kind of becoming him, in a sense, and developing himself as a person. Lewis hasn't seen the trailer.
How old is this?
He's 16 at the time, 17 is when he discovers his powers. So he's very young. It's an animated show, which I never thought at the time when Amazon bought the rights to this was going to be. I thought it was going to be live action, but it looks like it's going to be animated first.
Right. Okay.
And It's one of the first Amazon shows that is animated. They have done a Star Trek Below Deck, thanks to the help of the people who wrote and drew Rick and Morty, to do a version of Star Trek. I have not watched any of that, but it has humongously good reviews.
What? Rick and Morty?
No, the Star Trek version.
Okay.
Animated, written and produced by the same people. First thing that comes out to me when I talk about Invincibles, the TV show, is the cast already. Obviously, they've used the great people at The Walking Dead to help with it, but the main character, the young boy, is played by Stephen Yeun, who we know as Glenn.
Glenn, of course.
So as Glenn from The Walking Dead. But it also boasts Mark Hamill as a main character, who plays Luke Skywalker in the original,
and
Seth Rogen. No, who else does Mark Hamill play?
Does the voice for
Joker in the Batmans.
Yeah.
So we have also Seth Rogen is been hired as an actor, and I will go through the list of many Walking Dead actors they've brought in. Carrie Payton, also known as King Ezekiel, he's in there, who is also known for playing Cyborg in the cartoon Teen Titans.
Whoa.
Did you not know that? Yeah.
Ezekiel's
Cyborg.
No way.
Yeah. We also have
so
Laura Cohan, who is known as Maggie in The Walking Dead. She's in it. Shaniqua Martin Green. I forget the name of her character in The Walking Dead, but she's the one who's the sniper who gets eaten in the coffin in the end of season 9. Yeah. You have Chad Coleman. He is Tyrese, if my memory serves me right, in The Walking Dead. Mm. We have Michael Cutlitz, who is Abraham, also hired for it. Lenny James, who is Morgan. Ross Marquand, who is Aaron. And I believe that is all of The Walking Dead.
This is
Animated. These are all voice actors in the show. Wow. And also, a big point out, they have yet to release the name of the character he plays, but Justin Roiland, who is the voice and creator of Rick and Morty, is also hired to be in the show. From what I tell you there, does this make you want to watch it? I've left as little as possible because obviously you don't want to know. I would heavily recommend that everyone checks out the trailer that is out now. It's due out on the 29th of March worldwide on Amazon Prime. Not sponsored.
Sponsored.
Also, I realised I got my facts wrong. It's March 26th on Amazon Prime. It boasts a really good cast already.
Yeah.
If you really think that, I also want to give a shout out to Stephen Yeun, who this week has been nominated for an Oscar. He's the first American Asian actor to ever be nominated for an Oscar, so well done to him. It boasts a great cast. It boasts people that are very good voice actors. You didn't know, obviously, about Carrie Payton himself. He's a very well-known cyborg.
Okay, yeah. So I was just going to say that, obviously, this is a good cast for live action. However, being a voice actor is a very different ball game altogether.
I agree.
So whether these people, I don't know actors' names, like Maggie and Glenn, how they are with the voices,
it's a different story.
Who knows?
Understood. They have, however, backed up their roster with good voice actors to help out. J.K. Simmons, who is Nolan Grayson, the dad. They are a very famous voice actor. I don't have the list of stuff they do before, but when they were announced in this, they were given a lot of praise. Mark Hamill, as we've already mentioned, the Joker.
He's fantastic.
Carrie Payton, Cyborg, and also we've got Aaron, Ross Marquand.
Which she does
he is an impressionist who spent his life doing voices. And of course, Justin Roiland, Rick and Morty. They've boasted it with a mix of both. If it doesn't work with some, it's boosted by the rest, which is obviously great to see. Personally, myself, I'm really looking forward to it. Having seen the trailer, I'm even more so looking forward to it. I'm more upset when I look at this, when I tell this story, because I sent him the trailer as a Twitter link about 3.5 weeks ago when it first came out, and I said, and I quote, "I can't wait for this. I bet you can't too." And my response was, "I will do it after I bath the kids." It's a very long bath.
I guess I never did it. Okay, so what's the animation style then? What does it kind of look like?
Pokemon. I will, as we are going through this, going to show Lewis, not any clips from it, because we can't share any sound from any TV show unless we have agreement from Skybound or themselves. But if I will go to the Invincibles social media site as we speak, and he will get an idea of what it will look like. We're also happy to say that because The Boys is on Amazon Prime as well, they are using this to promote each other coming out to their new shows. Is there a chance that they might cross over at any point? There is a possibility that the voice actors may join, which has been announced.
I don't know if we're going to talk about The Boys for a little bit.
We will get to that I think we need to talk about The Boy, especially with season 3 coming up. But I'm showing him the animation style now of what it looks like. You're getting a live reaction to what he thinks it's going to be.
Oh my god! Yeah, I don't know if I would say that's more. I'd say that's
One Punch Man.
No,
Ultimate Muscle.
No, Ultimate Muscle is a good show. Good show. It reminds me of like the old, not old, but like the Marvel cartoons.
That's a great show.
And Justice League, things like that. Yeah, that's good, man.
So you're looking forward to it. Like, it is no hold bars gruesome. There's
some
blood.
Some blood.
Yeah,
Noticed that.
It has been, as far as we're aware, rated 18.
Oh, really?
We are expected to, for what an animated can be. I don't know if it's because of the language or because there is blood and guts and teeth falling out, etc.
It's surprising how much they can get away with 15, to be honest.
You
can have blood and swearing.
That's very true. I think we are going to be in for a good surprise here. I'm not, and Lewis will know this from history, is I'm not the biggest animated lover. There are certain animes I'm on board with. I do enjoy Death Note and Pokemon and things of that nature, but I've never really been into it. I think this might change my mind.
What about Naruto, man? I've gifted you a lot of DVDs.
I've watched a lot of Naruto, hours and hours, and I've watched a lot of Dragonball Z. Both are great, but I've never finished them to say,
no.
I have finished the original Pokemon. I have finished, other things of that nature. I finished Death Note. I understand that it's great animation. I've never been drawn to it as a show type.
Have you seen One Punch Man?
I've seen bits of One Punch Man.
Right.
I've seen bits of a lot of things that I've tried to get into.
We're not into it.
It was okay.
But man.
This is where we differ. Like, I'm more comic relation, and Lewis is more anime relation.
So what, you would rather be... Do you read a lot of comics? I know you've got into Walking Dead.
It's thanks to Skybound that I'm into comics again.
Yeah.
I was as a kid. I loved the Spider-Mans. I think I have a Spider-Man upstairs from 1972 that cost like 3p to buy. Really great. I'm more into it. I've got, a lot of The Walking Dead. I have the odd Invincible. I've started collecting their latest one, which I believe, I won't go too much into it, but when we're talking about film adaptations, I think this new comic that I'm currently reading is going to be the greatest TV show next to be picked up. Outcast was great. I've only ever read the first volume of Outcast after watching the TV show, but I have to say that we're in for a treat when it comes to what Skybound have and boast. That's the thing about Skybound, is they know exactly what they're doing. They were nearly debt-ridden, though, before The Walking Dead picked up their show, because ultimately, comic books don't really sell.
What?
I know. I believe that, I think during The Walking Dead's prime, before it was picked up on TV, it was selling like 30,000 worldwide.
Yeah.
And they only sell for like $3-4 a time, and 30,000 is not a lot.
Yeah.
And you've got to think about shipping it worldwide, printing it, paying the people to write it, animate it. They weren't making a lot of money. Skybound were making money from Walking Dead style TV show games, like you get the Telltale series and things like that. They made some money back from that, but they weren't making ridiculous amounts of money.
I don't think they have a good track record with making good games, though. I think the Telltale one was... I haven't played it. I've heard reviews on it, and they think it's good. I think that maybe the first ones or episodes were really good. I know they've made a few other Walking Dead games, but have all been
really terrible. There was one for the Xbox 360 about just Daryl Dixon, and it was an absolute terrible crap show. But yeah, I'm
glad you're going to be getting into it, though, because like you said, we differ very, very much on that animated. I'm all about that.
Yeah.
Huge passion for it. I watch so many animes, it's ridiculous. Great art form. I think it's has a lot of stigma to it, to just they think, oh, it's just a cartoon and just for babies, for kids and all that, but
it's far from it.
Yeah, I mean, the things that you can do with animation, you just can't do with live action. Like I say, like Into the Spider-Verse. You seen that?
Yeah, great. Absolutely
Animation.
outstanding.
It's
Yeah.
fantastic animation.
And it was like, I think at one point it was the most watched Marvel film at that time. Like
Probably,
people were
yeah.
tuning into it because it hit all age ranges as well, which is key to success. So Invincible, I'm really looking forward to. The comic I'm reading at the moment, Oblivion Song, is going to be huge. It's another post-apocalyptic, but not zombie, more mysterious monster based.
You love your Death and Destruction.
I do love Death and Destruction. But I'm really looking forward to it. I just wanted to start with Invincible because it's so new and it's going to be new to a lot of people.
I think the
comics is very popular.
Is really interesting.
And there was a lot, from what I've read, there was a lot of people fighting for the rights to the show.
Yeah.
And Amazon obviously won. But Amazon have a boast of money behind them to do so. It's not been long since they won the rights to the Lord of the Rings TV show, and it was going to be something like £10 billion for one season to film. Like, you know, that's just to make it, not alone buy the rights to it. Like,
yeah.
They have the money to do it. You can tell by the cast. That's not a cheap cast. They've not hired new people. They've hired people, seasoned pros in the acting world, not just the voiceover world, but the acting world. Mm-hmm. So I think I'm very excited to it. But what me brings to this is, what are some of the best adaptations, game and comic or book, to film you've ever seen? Because it boasts a lot. I've obviously said myself, The Walking Dead is my main one. I love that TV show. I think it's fantastic. I love everything about it. There's some bits, obviously, like every show does, you don't like and you wish you could change because you're such a diehard fan. But overall, I'm very, very impressed with how it goes, how it's gone, and how it's going to look in the future. The Walking Dead may be ending next season.
We did say films.
Film and TV, anything.
Okay, so when I was thinking about this, I tried to stay away from anime because if
you could go on forever.
Well, if I could choose anime, that'd be an easy list to make.
I mean,
but every anime, don't quote me on this, but every anime has originated from a piece of manga.
Correct. I know that to be true for a lot. That includes Naruto, that includes your One Punch Man,
Dragonball Z,
that includes Dragon Ball Z, yeah, exactly,
everything.
Yeah.
Death Note.
So
if we're talking about anything other than that, my number one is Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
Lord of the Rings, my favourite series of all time. I think so. I think you're a massive fan of Lord of the Rings.
I am a massive fan of Lord of the Rings.
Did you used to collect the
Warhammer version?
Yeah, I think I remember that. Was it?
They're still around.
There's a cabinet right there
in this house somewhere. Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
Did you used to have them in there?
I did. I did, and
used to paint them.
I mean, we're gonna go into our top five later about our top 5 film adaptations. So we'll just brush over ones that we enjoy and ones we're looking forward to. So in the future, have you looked at any in the future that you're looking forward to coming out soon? We've got the Invincibles, but
okay. So the Lord of the Rings TV show, that's what I'm looking forward to. But also Last of Us. So
that is we'll go into The Last of Us later. We have a section in this episode based on Last of Us TV show, which I cannot agree with you more. It's going to be probably the next greatest thing to come out. Mm-hmm. I'd like to brush over a few I wrote down here and see your thoughts. You've never played the game, I don't believe, but coming out next year is the Uncharted film, based obviously on the video game.
Yes.
I am wholeheartedly looking forward to this.
I've never played Uncharted, so I'm excited. I said for that.
I would recommend you play the Uncharted more than anything.
Yeah, you keep getting me to. You never give me the games.
Well, that's right, Ross. We have a friend called Ross, and he has them.
Hi, Ross.
Hi, Ross. Uncharted, cannot wait. I've played the video game, so I know how the storyline goes, but I'm trying to not read too much of the films in case they change it, and it's something that's different. But the hiring of Tom Holland as Nathan Drake is fantastic to me.
Right, okay, so I've never played Uncharted, so the only thing that I know about it is from trailers or maybe a few clips here and there. But just going on appearance, I don't know if I don't want to say that I'm looking for someone who looks exactly like that guy, because that's not going to happen. But when I look at Tom Holland, I do think of a really young lad. Yeah. I think maybe like a 20-year-old, 18-year-old.
Yeah.
And he's probably, how old is he?
I think he's like 22, 23.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's young.
When I think of Nathan Drake, I don't know how old he is. I think a guy into his 30s.
I
maybe
believe
coming up to 40.
he's hired as young Nathan Drake.
Right, okay.
As I think he will develop as the films go on.
Okay, well, you know what? He's a fantastic actor, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And if it's a young Nathan Drake, I've got no issues. He wouldn't offend me anyway. You'll know more about the story and how intriguing the story is. I don't know anything other than he goes and finds.
The one comparison about Uncharted that I get, that people use all the time, that I don't really like, is it's the male Lara Croft. That's what he's dubbed as. Because the games are similar, but the storyline is far from the same. But it's a good way of comparing the two. Yeah. I would heavily say if you enjoy the Lara Croft games and the Tomb Raider game, you will enjoy Uncharted. But it has its own unique... It's got beasts and beings in it. It's adventure. Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Looking for treasure?
Looking for treasure, yeah.
So a male Lara Croft then.
No comment. Another couple I want to talk to about what I'm looking forward to. Mortal Kombat. The trailer just came out recently.
I forgot about that one. That looks really good.
If you've ever seen the original Mortal Kombat movie from I think it's like the late 80s, early 90s.
Was it Annihilation?
Well, I can't remember, but I didn't really enjoy it, and I can see why Mortal Kombat never released anything since.
Terribly
now
good.
We're in the realm of future and new technology and things like that, and CGI. Now is the right time for a Mortal Kombat movie.
Absolutely, and the trailer looks really good. The effects on Sub-Zero with the ice and freezing the blood and all, and the combat and the action look really, really good. So, really looking forward to Mortal Kombat. Hope they do it justice. I know there's not a very good track record in the film world of making good games.
Yes.
So I'm a bit apprehensive, but
I agree.
I'm excited for it. Leading on, no, go on if you want.
No, you go.
From another game, have you heard about Borderlands?
Is that having a TV show?
Yes.
I did not know that.
So you probably never played.
Correct.
You've never played Borderlands.
Never been. I think it's the animation.
Yeah, it's a cell shaded.
Yes, it's like 2D, like front facing 2D. Which are with a 3D element, which makes no sense when you say it out loud.
It doesn't make any sense.
But it makes sense to me. This is 2D to you now.
Can you see that, viewers at home?
Well, I'm showing my hand. It makes no sense. This is 2D.
Okay, nice finger.
Then you can see it 3D.
Yeah.
Right? That's how it looks to me.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. If you was to look at a picture of it, a screenshot, you might think these are all just... Well, obviously the 2D, but...
Like South Park?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe it's an art thing. A lot of people do have issues with the cell shading.
It's to me, it's not for me. It's not for me, and that's why I've never played it. The fact there's a TV show coming out about it...
Funniest game I've ever played.
Funniest?
Funniest. It is hilarious. The humour in it is brilliant.
The funniest game for me is South Park. Stick of Truth.
Stick of Truth.
Absolutely outstanding. Cracked Butthole.
Oh, yeah, Cracked Butthole. Yeah,
absolutely great games.
Fair play, they're really good. Borderlands is really, really, really hilarious and funny. Actors that are in it have been cast so far. I think I only know of two that you will definitely know. We have Jack Black and Kevin Hart.
Nice. We're having a Jumanji recast.
In it, right?
We're just missing The Rock.
Yeah.
Karen Gillan.
They're going to be in it. I know it's a very funny game. They're obviously very funny people. Who knows?
I think
apprehensive but excited.
Like Invincible, if you bolster it with a good cast, you gain interest straight away. Mm-hmm. So you've said them two. I'm interested. I will watch it. Maybe then it leads me to play the games, and then I change my mind.
Yeah.
Fortnite did a collaboration with Borderlands, and they made one section of the map cell shaded. Mm-hmm. I absolutely detested it. I hated it. I just didn't like it at all.
Art style.
Yeah. The gameplay in that section, your character became cell shaded. Anything you threw into that section became cell shaded. If the final circle went there, I would probably just kill myself before getting it because I couldn't stand it. Not for me.
Harsh, man.
But it might make me want to play it when I see the show. If the show is cell shaded as well, I can't say I'm going to be interested in it. It might give me an epileptic fit.
Yeah?
I'm not saying no to enjoying it,
I
but
don't know.
when you said Borderlands TV show, instant reaction is I'm 2 out of 10 excited.
Yeah.
You say the cast, I'm 5 out of 10 excited. But when I get Vietnam flashbacks to this Fortnite season with it, I don't like it and I don't want to see it. But
You need to be more open-minded, man.
shut up.
Like, in terms of, okay, so like, for me, I have a lot of, like we all do, certain biases in certain things. When it comes to like art styles, again, we have certain biases, things we like, things we don't like. For instance, I'm talking about, like we did last week with WandaVision, how it's all black and white. Black and white is not really for me, and I would judge, if like looking at old films, that is just black and white doesn't really interest me. However, went into it really good. And there's some black and white films that are actually really good. So like, so in terms of, and that's the only thing I can really think that I do not like. But in terms of like genres, I have certain things that I'm more interested in. It wouldn't necessarily stop me from, like, I'm not a big fan of musicals.
No.
However,
Yes, I think I know where we're going with this.
every time I've watched a musical, I've
You've enjoyed
loved it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We used to like a musical.
To be
didn't we?
fair, that's very true. I would agree with you. I'm not a fan of musicals, but you put a musical on and I will love it.
Yeah.
I don't know how I've got to that in my
High
life.
School Musical.
Yes.
Greatest
Showman,
Like,
yes.
I went into Greatest Showman thinking like, oh god, not another musical. But then as soon as the first song played, I was like, damn, this
This is good.
really
I completely agree.
So in terms of like art styles, I wouldn't necessarily judge anything too harshly. You need to be more open-minded. That's what I'm saying. You'd enjoy it.
I'll just quickly brush over this next one that I want to talk. Well, actually, yeah, this is one that's been confirmed. It's one that I am semi looking forward to, because when they did a film version of this, I wasn't that intrigued. The Halo TV show. It's been bought. The rights have been bought by HBO. No, by Showtime. Showtime are, I believe, the channel that creates the Titans live action series.
On Netflix.
That we see on Netflix over here, but I think Showtime have the rights to it on American TV. Showtime have bought the rights to Halo. They've said they will share it with Paramount Plus, the online streaming network that's produced many good things like Friends, etc., that kind of TV channel.
Yeah.
This is going to be their first major involvement in buying something and making it into a show itself from something that's a game or, any literature. I don't have much about the concept of the show. All it really says on the notes I have here is they're thinking about having Steven Spielberg in to help with the production and the direction of it. It's debuted for 2022 as it stands. I loved Halo 3 and Halo 4 as in games. The rest I didn't really enjoy.
Yeah.
I'm at a 5 for enjoyment. What are your thoughts, please?
Okay, so I played Halo 3 quite a bit when it came out.
We played it together.
However, that is the only Halo game I've ever played. I didn't play, is it Halo Reach?
Halo Reach. There was Halo Reach, Halo Wars.
ODST, that was one of them.
Yes, I remember.
And yeah, so I like Halo 3. But when I got it was played up to be the biggest thing ever. The hype was incredible over Halo. And when I played, I thought, yeah, it's a good game, but maybe I was a bit overhyped for it. So in terms of a TV show, I wouldn't be in a rush to go and see it. So I'd probably say maybe excitement level, probably a 5.
5.
But, who knows?
I mean, I get that. I agree with a 5. I'm open-minded to it. Halo has a huge say in our market, in the gaming market. Has a huge following. People have been wanting something of this nature for a very, very long time.
There's a new Halo game coming out. They've had to push back because it looked terrible.
They have a huge... The problem I have with it, they have a lot to work for in terms of keeping the fans on board. They've been let down numerous times, but they still have the same following. Yeah. Can the show do the same? I hope so. It's one that I'll watch if I don't have to buy another streaming service to watch it. That's my excitement level.
I would say so.
For it.
I would probably say I would look at some reviews on it before I would go into it. See what people actually, the fans think about it.
I'd say that's
wasn't
a
about
good
it. Then
shout.
yeah, I'll go into it. But
I'd say that's a great shout.
other than that, I don't really have any. I wouldn't be rushing to go and see it.
Question out for you then. What games or books or comics would you like to see made into a show or film? What do you want to see? I've written 5 down here for myself.
Yeah.
I would love to see a Death Stranding movie or a TV show, the recent one with Norman Reedus, a Red Dead TV show or film, a Mass Effect TV show or film, and one that seems to have been agreed on 50 to 60,000 times and never made, Gears of War.
When we're just talking about Halo, I was going to mention the fact that Gears of War, I'm sure that's supposed to have been coming out since like 2007,
Yeah.
7.
When
the original Gears of War came out in 2006, but
when we're
talking about film for years.
Back when me and Lewis used to play Gears of War 3 online, the talk started to happen about buying the Gears of War series as a TV show and film. They're even talking about playing Terry Crews as Coltrane.
Which would be amazing.
Amazing. But we were saying this 15 years ago.
It probably was, isn't it?
Yeah, 2006 is 15 years ago.
Well, the original Gears of War, came out in 2006.
Okay, we'll say 10 years then we've been talking about this.
It's been a long, long time. And I keep hearing little things here and there, but I don't know if is it still happening?
I don't know. So this is why
it's just a rumour?
This is why it's now listed as something that should be made into it, not something that I'm looking forward to. Yeah. Another one I would like to see is Horizon Zero Dawn. If anyone has played the PS4 first game, I'm looking forward to the second one, obviously, but the first one, I feel like it could become something if someone put their mind to it. Is there anything that you'd like to see?
So I had down on mine is Mass Effect. I would love to see Mass Effect made. I don't want to go into like top 5s again, but it's among my favourite gaming series. Yeah, absolutely. Have you played all of Mass Effect?
I've played the first 2.
So the Mass Effect Legendary Edition that's coming out in...
Is that a remastered version of a series?
Yes, the remastering 1, 2 and... Remaster?
Remaster.
What's the difference?
Remaster means they're just making the graphics to fit the new gen consoles, etc.
They are changing.
Remake is they might change the story a little bit.
They're not changing the story, but I think they are changing like some models. They've changed the female shepherd face model and things like that. So maybe it's just a texture thing. I don't know.
On that point,
anyway,
just off what you've just said, going away from Mass Effect, Spider-Man Miles Morales. I'd like to make a very negative point to the people who made that game only. The game is a 10 out of 10, but...
It's 2 hours long.
No. Well, yeah, it's very short, but they changed the actor for the Peter Parker Spider-Man.
Yeah, what's
And if you play the end of the first one, like I did again, before literally going straight into the second one, you can tell the difference, and it's really annoying.
But who is that guy?
I know. He's not Spider-Man.
Why?
So
I don't
just
know
back
why
on that.
it.
No.
I think did they say they changed the face model to suit the voice? Or
yes,
the voice
but
no idea.
For anyone who knows how video games are made now, they're based on the face of the person who's doing the acting. They wear dots all over their face. They have a microphone and a camera attached to them. They use the face movements. If you look at the GTA 5 3 main characters and the actors, they are literally them. No change whatsoever.
Oh, Trevor?
Yeah.
That's
the guy
Trevor.
from The Walking Dead.
Yeah. No. Is that his name?
Trevor Phillips in the show, in GTA.
In the game, yeah. When I saw Walking Dead, I saw him in that, I was like, hang on a second.
Yeah, that is him.
Yeah, he's actually.
But that's it. They use the exact face models. So why change it unless they've changed the actor?
Yeah.
But if they've changed the actor, why?
I don't get it.
Didn't really need it. He's not in Spider-Man 2 really at all.
No.
So you only needed him for like a day's work at best. Well, not a day's, obviously it takes a long time, but you know what I mean? Short compared to what you needed.
Irrelevant change. I think a lot of people had. I haven't actually played Miles Morales, but had issues with Miles's voice.
No, it was alright. No, it's fine.
Yeah,
it didn't really bother me.
It was good.
No, well, it's a teenager. Teenagers are nasally. When you, in particular, mentioned the Last of Us TV show.
Yes.
Again, Lewis has said it quite rightly. We don't want to go too much into our top 5s, but the Last of Us gaming franchise is in my top 5. I would
just say God of War as well for the... yeah, but go on.
Never played it. I would say Last of Us is one of the best gaming series ever made. yes, I have different thoughts about how I think number 2 should have gone.
Yeah.
But it doesn't put me off how excited I am about the fact we have Last of Us as a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
It's been bought, the rights have been bought by HBO, who are most known for throwing money at Game of Thrones. They have pretty much said this is going to be the same
Take
concept.
all the money.
Yes, make what you can, do what you make it right. There is a few writers hired for this. There's the original writers of the gaming series of Last of Us. There's some original writers that have come from Game of Thrones, and there's a couple of writers that have come from The Walking Dead to help out with this, because obviously there's a similar concept in terms of storyline. Not much has been released about the show itself. The questions I do have is, first of all, what we do know is they've announced the actors and actress who are going to play Joel and Ellie.
Mm-hmm.
Joel is obviously our good friend Pedro Pascal
From Mandalorian.
from The Mandalorian.
And Game of Thrones.
And from Game of Thrones, yes.
There's the Viper.
And we've got the woman who's playing Ellie, the young girl. She's a young British actress. I don't know her name off the top of my head, but
What do you think about her?
I don't really know. She's in Game of Thrones, so she knows the people at HBO well.
Mm.
We only see her in the last season. She plays a little annoying princess that tries to fight back with Sansa at Winterfell.
Yep. Is she a lord or something?
She's a lord of her area.
Yeah.
That's the only acting I've seen of her. It's 15-20 minutes in an entire season. Is that enough to me justify how good a bad an actress she is? No. I think she's too young to play Ellie. I see what they've done. They've done a very Carl Grimes effect with her. Hire them young, so when the show grows, they grow and they don't have to rehire. I get it.
Well, how old is...
Well, Carl Grimes at the time...
Not Carl.
No, but going to that was 10 years old.
Right.
Ellie is around 13, I believe, in the first one. But this actress, I don't know. But she might well be 13 or over. As we all know, they hire older actors to play younger characters. Yes, she'll grow with her character, etc. It needs to be. But Ellie, in the first game, isn't a child. She's a child, but she's not a child. You know what I mean? She doesn't act like a child. Well, yeah.
She's a child, but she's not a child.
She's not like a child. She doesn't look like a child, but she's a child.
Yeah.
I'd say I have to go with HBO's gut on this, and the people who are in the casting department. They will know something that I don't. Obviously, my job is not to hire people for TV shows. My job is just to do this.
Chat shit.
It's just, yeah, exactly. So I have to go with it. The Pedro Pascal, I do agree with. I think it's a good fit. It's not my first choice. I did write a list of people that I thought could have done a good job as Joel. Andrew Lincoln, who plays Rick Grimes,
of course,
obviously.
I
actually would say Hugh Jackman as the Logan Hugh Jackman. He's very beardy, very scraggly, very, I see that in him. They're the only two I could really see playing Joel. Again, I'm going to my Walking Dead roots here. If I was to pick myself, who casts Ellie, I'd have gone for Cassidy McClinley. She plays Lydia in The Walking Dead. She is like, she's Alpha's daughter. She is now like under her wing by Negan and
that's a whole other
and Carol. But I think she'd have been a good fit there.
Let's talk about this. So when we're talking about the characters that they've cast, I don't know if this is just me, but I have a big issue with. I want the actor to look as much like the character as possible. And look, I love Mando, I really do, but I just don't think he doesn't look like Joel. And the actress that they've got playing Ellie, I don't think she looks like Ellie at all, especially her. But then there's an argument to say, like, should everything be the same? Should they all look the same? Should they hit the same story beats? Or should they just create their own thing?
Yeah.
Because if they try and do that, then what's the purpose of having a TV show in the first place? But, I don't know. I think they need to match, for me, visually what I've been playing. Like, this will be a whole other conversation as well, but Dragon Ball Z, for instance. Yeah? Mm-hmm. So they made a live action Dragon Ball film, right? So, for instance, they had Master Roshi, Do you remember Master
Oh,
Roshi?
I've seen the trailer for this. It looked nothing alike.
Well,
doesn't
right.
it?
So Master Roshi is a bald man with a big white beard. Yeah, but in the live action show, they played a guy has no beard and black hair. So when I see that, I think like that's not him. So in terms of like Last of Us, I think whoever they play, for me, I mean they've already cast Joel and Ellie, so it is.
We can do nothing about.
We can't do anything about that. So I think what's that guy's name? What's Mando's name?
Pedro Pascal.
Pedro. I think he's a fantastic actor. I think he was great in Mandalorian. I think he was fantastic in Game of Thrones. The Viper. Forget his actual name. They call him the Viper.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I've tried to forget Game of Thrones since our last episode. So,
but I think he's fantastic in that. So I have no issues really, other than the appearance. I think he's a great choice because he's a great actor. Again, skeptical about what the choice of Ellie. I think she was okay in Game of Thrones, but like you said, just annoying, and she was very, very young. Too young, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see.
So, in terms of looking forward to it, are you?
I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah. I don't know if we're gonna ever talk about Last of Us as a game at some point.
I'm hoping we cross this at some point.
Okay. In that case, yeah, I'm really excited. I really like Last of Us, so I'm excited. I'll give it an 8.
HBO did announce that they will adapt to the games in a sense, but not follow them to the key. I think when you get adaptations, you can change it to fit the review of the fans from the original workload. So, spoiler alert again, as always. Joel's death.
Whoa, what? Okay.
In Last of Us 2, I know you already know that bit, I wouldn't have said it. I don't think that'll happen in the TV show. Mainly because I think there'll be a changing of the reins if the show lasts long enough. That's why I hire a young actress. She gets old enough she can take the reins when the actor who plays the older character is too old to continue.
What's the writer's name of the game? Who did the game?
Naughty Dog.
Not the company. Whose choice was it to axe Joel?
The writers of it.
Writers.
The people who have come over to HBO to write this. Neil Druckmann or Drunkman or I don't know. I've lost interest in his name ever since he killed Joel off.
Right. So Neil, that's the guy I was trying to think of.
Neil Druckmann.
So he
received
with the series.
death threats after the death of Joel.
Right, but is he involved?
He is the lead writer of the TV show.
Right. So I think that nothing. I don't think anything will change because I know that he's had a lot of backlash. However, he still defends his decision. And he's received a fuck ton of awards for it.
He has. For the game of the year.
For the second game, at least. So I think he will... I don't know whether they'll do it in these 2 seasons, but I think eventually it probably will lead to that, yeah.
I mean, I hope they follow the storyline of the 2 games, but I hope they also do it without killing Joel. But can you have the storyline to the second game without killing Joel? Or do they bring in a new character that we've never heard of, never been a part of, like a Carol or a Daryl in The Walking Dead, realistically, someone who was not really interested in the beginning, and then they're the ones who killed off to kickstart this new series.
See, I think I'm probably one of the only people that defends the decision. That I'm okay with Joel dying. I'm okay with it.
I mean, I don't agree with the fact they killed Joel. It upset me.
Yeah, but that's not a bad thing. It's giving you an emotional response to something, which doesn't mean...
I think they need to bring in Abby and Gina and Jesse and all these characters from the game too, who help shape this new storyline into the series. Yeah. But I hope they do it without ruining what fans had in the original.
Okay, so devil's advocate here. Let's take a few steps back and say, okay, Glenn.
Yeah.
Happy he died? No. Defend it?
I can't.
No. I'm not saying you defend it, but was it the right decision? Is it a good decision?
No.
It was a bad move.
Yes.
Why?
Because they did the TV show differently to the comics, in my view, which they did.
That's okay.
No, yeah, and they followed the comics in terms of Glenn's death. But Glenn was a different character in the show than what he was in the comics.
But a lot of things are different.
And I know, but they had this opportunity of, I don't know, why didn't they kill Carl off at that point? and then the story could have evolved from that. Rick's revenge for his son. Instead of
So is that coming from a comic viewpoint? Or
no, it's coming from what I know about the TV show.
Okay.
The comic point, I didn't really want... when I read Glenn's death in the comics, I was not happy. As happy as I was about the TV show. And when they had this lineup of death, and Negan comes out for the first time, and we're pissing our pants, and one of you's going to die, I still thought in my heart and head it wasn't going to be Glenn. I thought it was going to be Daryl or Michonne or, heck, kill a character that's not really important at that point. A Eugene.
Rick.
Or an Aaron. You know what I mean? It could have been anyone like that. They stuck to their guns.
I think Glenn was probably along the lines of that.
I get it.
Maybe a bit of a step up from Eugene and Aaron. Definitely Eugene. So I guess my point was sometimes characters die and we're not happy about it because it upsets us. We want to see more of them, but it doesn't mean it's a bad move that they've done that, because sometimes they need to do cruel things to get that emotion from you. For example, Gears of War. Yeah, you played Gears of War.
I have played Gears of War.
That is the first game I ever cried in. I teared up when Dom died.
Correct.
Okay. I didn't blubber because I'm a man, obviously. But yeah, I had tears in my eyes when he died. Was it a good move to make? Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm happy he died, no, but it makes the story that much better because it made me feel an emotional... It got that emotional response from me, and I'll always remember that.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of emotion, in terms of Joel dying, I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't get too emotional about it. I don't feel like I had that much of a connection to him from the first game. I liked the first game, but when I played it, it was hyped way too much. And I really enjoyed it. I'd give it like maybe a 7 or 8. We'll give it an 8. So him dying, sad, didn't make me tear up or anything like that, but I thought it was sad and how it affected Ellie and all that side of things. But that was a catalyst for Ellie going on her journey from there, and the whole game really was centered around that event happening. Yeah, and it was a good culmination at the very end. Well, towards the end, when you're looking through Abby's story, and was it Abby? Yeah, and it turns out that Joel killed her father.
Yes.
So, she, with that knowledge, she's well within her rights to be feeling the way that she is. Yeah. So she's got revenge for Joel. So the fact that Ellie's going off and doing that exact same thing almost says that Abby's in the right with what she did there.
I get it.
Because she's out for revenge as well. Do you know what I mean? So it's all about the cycle of hatred just continues. Well, if Ellie goes and does that, well, then they'll get revenge to do that, and then it just carries on. I like that side of things. I think it's a very interesting way of doing it. So yeah, I think they probably will end up killing him again at some point because the writer Neil has always defended his decision and he's been given loads of awards for it. So I don't know why he would do a series just to appease the probably loud minority that are complaining about it, to be honest. Who knows?
We'll have to see. And I'm sure when it comes out and we talk about it, we'll know more. Yeah. But it's something I'm looking forward to. Overall, it's a 9 or a 10 of the excitement level for myself. What about you?
Yeah, I'd give it an 8.
Right. For the first time this season, we're finally going to do a Top 5.
Top 5.
So, the aim is, most episodes, hopefully every week, we'll have a top 5. We'll not really go in depth about it, but we'll brush over our top 5s around a certain subject. And this subject is our top
subject,
5 film adaptation shock horror. We'll start from our 5th best all the way up to our 1, and maybe we'll just have a little brief overview. We'll just say a little bit about what our number is and what we think, but nothing too much in detail. And we'll see if we have any similarities in our top 5s and any similarities in our positioning. So we'll start with number 5.
I'll just preface this by saying Also, like, I didn't take any of the manga anime side of things into account.
The only rule I had, realistically, was no Marvel or DC.
Yeah.
The rest is what we believe from anything else. I would have accepted manga or anime because it's based on book. It's book,
Yes.
game, and anything else.
So I didn't take that into account. So
You might change
the list I've
it.
got now is, I'm not going to change it on the fly
Okay.
because it might all just be anime related. But
So this is our top 5 film and game TV adaptations. Number 5. Me, Detective Pete. Me. I am my top 5. No, number 5 for me, Detective Pikachu.
Good shout.
There were so many. I wrote around 10 or 11 out that I liked.
Mm-hmm.
Detective Pikachu is in my top 5 mainly because it's come from nowhere.
Absolutely nowhere.
And it was great.
Ryan Reynolds, man.
Ryan Reynolds.
What a fantastic,
He's a great actor.
fantastic guy.
Right, your number 5.
My number 5. My number 5 is Ready Player One. Have you seen that film?
I saw it with you. I was the
We
guy,
did see it together.
I was the guy next to you. I thought I saw you somewhere.
Ready Player One. I thought that was a really, really good film. And obviously, I'm massively into gaming, and I think the way that they approached gaming in the film, why are you smiling at me?
Just laugh. You might be able to hear a dog in the background. It's not mine.
The way they approached gaming and talked about gaming and the passion, got that back in his loud. The passion behind that creators love for gaming, I thought was really, really beautiful. Really enjoyed it. A lot of references to other gaming things, Street Fighter and everything else. Iron Giant. There's all kinds of characters in that film. Really enjoyed it.
Now it's time for number 4.
Number 4.
I have The Hunger Games, based on the books of the same name.
Yep.
Absolutely love The Hunger Games. Absolutely loved all 3. I thought the casting was fantastic. I thought the acting was fantastic. I'm a member of the society that read the books before the films. Heavily enjoyed it. Obviously, comparisons are different. They changed things, but loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I did think about putting Hunger Games on, but I don't think I enjoyed it as much as a lot of other people. I really liked the first one. I thought the first one was brilliant. From there, it faltered a little bit, went on, and the last one, I don't know. I always thought she should have ended up with bloody Liam Hemsworth. Was it him?
No. Oh, the other
Was
one.
it? Was it him?
It
was
was.
Liam, isn't it? Yeah. Should have ended up with him, not the other dude.
Is it Peter? I can't remember who she ends up with now.
Can't remember.
But yeah. Who's your number 4?
Number 4. So this is a weird one, and you'll have never seen it. It's called Hidden Figures.
No.
Have you seen it?
I think I've heard of it, but that's not what I think.
Okay, so I've recommended this film to a few people, and everyone said they've loved it when they've watched it. So it's about the space race, the NASA first to the moon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? It's about these 3 black women who had a massive part in going up to space, and it tackles. It's not my sort of film usually, I would say, but it talks about. It tackles certain issues regarding women in that time period, especially coloured women in that time period, and it's a true story as well. So it's off of there's a book about it. I don't know if that really counts.
It does.
I'm counting
it. It does.
And I don't want to go into too many spoilers. No. Again, not really my thing. There's no action or anything like that, but brilliant story. Yeah. I'd recommend watching it. Again, it's not my sort of thing at all, but I've seen it a few times. It's really, really good.
It's on the list. That's good.
Yeah.
Nice time for number 3. I don't really want to talk about this one much. I'll say it because it's Game of Thrones, number 3 on my list. I've read the first book.
Didn't even think about Game of Thrones. I should have put that on. All right.
I've read Game of Thrones, just the first book. Really enjoyed the first book. It's set out differently to how you see it in the TV show, obviously. It's a chapter about a person at a time, going through the time period. So you go through a scale of, X amount of months, and then you go back to the start and read it from a different character's perspective, and go back and read it from another character's perspective, and then you do it, etc., etc. TV show, however, fantastic, all the way up until the last episode. I don't really want to talk about it too much.
last episode.
Well, last season as a whole.
What a shit show.
I give Game of Thrones seasons 1 up until the last one solid 9 to 10s. I give the last one a 7. I give the last episode a 3. It ruined it. It was top until the last episode.
But we're not going to talk about it too much.
But it's third on my list.
Yeah. Okay, number 3. Harry Potter. Do you miss that one?
Nope, it's in my other ones to mention.
I didn't realise we had
I'm just saying.
Honourable mentions list.
Yeah, honourable mentions list.
Everyone's seen Harry Potter.
Set the world on fire, didn't it?
They really did. Great set of films. Not as great as a certain set of films along that same period, but I'll get to that.
Yeah.
Harry Potter, number 3.
Number 2. My number 2 is obviously going to be your number 1, I reckon. Number 2 to me is Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, boy!
I love Lord of the Rings. Absolutely love it.
Surprised that's number 2.
Again, I'm like with what you've mentioned about Harry Potter, I'm part of the society that's read the books first before watching the film. Actually, it's not true about the Fellowship of the Ring. I watched the film, I got me into the books, I read all the books, then I watched the rest of the films as they came out. I read all the I say all the Hobbits, there's only one Hobbit before the 3 Hobbits came out. Love them, completely agree. If it is your number 1, then it's fantastic.
Well, I won't spoil it for you, but fantastic set of films. I don't know what. Again, we could probably get into a conversation about Lord of the Rings on its own, but The Hobbit. What do you think of the Hobbit films?
Hobbit class, absolutely class.
I see. Loads of people hate the Hobbit films.
No,
I think they're really good.
No,
not as good as Lord of the Rings.
Not as good as Lord of the Rings, but they're classy what they offer.
Anything that would get me back into Middle Earth, I'm happy with it. So I really enjoyed the Hobbit. But yeah, anyway, my number 2 is Shawshank Redemption.
That's in my notable mentions list.
As if that's in the honourable mentions. Shawshank Redemption, fantastic film. If you guys have never seen Shawshank Redemption, which I imagine most people have at this point, go and watch it. It's one of them films that there's a certain few films that I've seen in my life where when I'm watching it, I'm sat there, I'm thinking, I don't want this to end, because you're having such a good time with it, and then it got to a certain point in the story and I thought, it's going to close off here and I'm so satisfied, but I wish it would carry on. And then it carried on, and I won't spoil anything, but yeah, Shawshank Redemption, fantastic film. See it again and again.
100% agree. My number 1. This is no surprise to anyone who knows me as a person. Number 1 is The Walking Dead. Absolutely love it. Read all the comics. Not all of them. Read a good amount of the comics. The comics I don't own, I'm ordering. I have them. I've read and seen that the TV show is not going to end like the comics. The comics end with it's so far in the future that zombies just don't really happen anymore. That you only happen now when they die. That's it. It's not a big spoiler alert. It's basically the last comic is set 10 years in the future after the comic before. Zombies are never really seen ever. They're actually used in circus shows as like attractions to kids who have never seen zombies, because the zombies only appear now when you die, because it's been so long in the future. All the ones that originated when the population was huge have all just decomposed, because at the end of the day they're just rotting flesh. Anyway, away from all that, best TV series I have ever seen. It's in my top 5 TV series of all time as number 1. It's in my top 5 film adaptation, TV adaptations of all time. It's in my top 5 comics of all time. Walking Dead is my thing.
Collects Walking Dead.
I collect Walking Dead everything if I can.
Pop figures.
Yes.
Comics.
Yes.
DVDs.
Yes.
Cosplayed.
Yes.
Bats.
Yes.
Everything. Did you get the crossbow?
No, I didn't.
Crossbow. That's next on the list. Yeah, you're a big fan of Walking Dead.
I love Walking Dead.
You do like Walking Dead more than any person I know ever.
That's true.
Number 1. Lord of the Rings, surprisingly.
What?
Crazy. Lord of the Rings. I don't really know what else to say that we haven't already said. Fantastic.
I agree.
Fantastic
It's fantastic. It is.
A bit intimidating for some people because it's so long-winded, especially the extended versions of the films.
The extended versions.
But yeah, what a set of films! What a set of actors!
Everything about it is just top notch, and I agree.
Yeah, I can't say anything more about it. The only thing I ever wish was that they'd do more games and that. They have done a lot of games.
The PS2 versions
haven't been very good.
The PS2 versions of the storylines were fantastic. They needed
Return of the King?
more of them.
Yeah.
They need them remastered, I agree. The battle ones for the PC, Battle for Middle-earth or whatever, I love them. I used to play that all the time.
Yeah,
that was the only PC game I'd ever play. The newer stuff on the new gen consoles,
Shadow of
really
Mordor,
like.
Shadow of War.
I agree, it should be in there. I will just quickly go over my honourable mentions list. I said Assassin's Creed movie, I said Shawshank Redemption, and I said Harry Potter. And I also made a note of the worst film adaptation I've ever seen. It was the 1993 film Mario and Luigi. It was called Super Mario Brothers. It was terrible. The bad guys were terrible, and I hope to never see that ever again.
My worst,
Yes.
and I already did mention this, is Dragon Ball Evolution.
I
I
agree from the trailer.
An absolute shit show. Every fan of Dragon Ball has the same opinion as me. The person who directed Dragon Ball Evolution has come out and said that he's made a massive mistake and he's so sorry and this, that and the other. Yeah, they changed the story way too much. I could go into this so much, it's ridiculous, but Goku? You know who Goku is.
I know who Goku is.
Well, Goku in Dragon Ball Evolution is like a high school kid who's a bit nerdy and geeky, and that's not Goku. And we're talking about like appearances. Bulma has blue hair in the anime, and in this she's just got black hair with one blue strand of hair. Master Roshi, he lives on an island in the middle of nowhere, like a small island with one house in the middle of the ocean. In the middle of the ocean, bald, beard. In the TV show, he's in the middle of some city, just in a house. You know, in the city, not in the ocean. He's got black hair, no beard. Just everyone, all the characters are completely off. Piccolo is more of a grey colour than a green colour. When Goku turns into an Ozaru, the big monkey thing, which should be taller than buildings, he's just a little bit bigger than a person. I don't know. Just everything about it is just terrible. Almost ruined the franchise, because that's all people remembered. And Akira Toriyama, who made the Dragon Ball manga and was involved with Dragon Ball Z up until... Oh no, I think he was involved with the whole thing. I think he did GT as well, a little bit of it. It made him come back and do Dragon Ball Super. Have you seen the new one?
No, but I've heard...
They've continued Dragon Ball and made Dragon Ball Super, and he came back and wrote more manga and then obviously animes and films. Because of Dragon Ball Evolution and how that left a bad taste in everyone's mouth. And he's doing a good job. So,
well, another notable mention, alright, I did enjoy the Netflix Death Note film, in terms of it was different, it needed more, it's nowhere near my top 10. I would just like to mention it as one, and they are going to make a second movie that follows on from it, and I will be watching, but my excitement level is a 6.
I did not like Death Note.
I gathered.
I think the casting for Light Yagami was horrendous. I think the casting for L. So this is another thing. Was L? Was he
policeman? No.
So what was Light in? I can't remember what Light was in. The actor for Light.
Oh.
I need to have a look at this again, but. The actor for Light, I thought he was terrible. The actor for L, so L in the anime is this really, really pale, weird dude. He always has his shoes off, he bare feet, and he's like perched on chairs and things like that. In the TV show, I'm sure he's a black guy. Is he?
Can't remember.
I'm sure he is. Now, this is a debate in itself about recasting, like they did with Fantastic Four and Human Torch. Yeah.
Oh
He's
yeah.
a white guy in the comics and all the other films, but in the Fantastic Four they remade, he was a black guy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then they changed the story that I think it was like some was it like a what's the name? The Invisible Woman. Is it Sue? I don't know her name. But it's like a step. They were supposed to be brother and sister.
Yes.
But I think they changed it to like the step brothers and sisters anyway. It's
just not what fans remember.
I like to see, like we talked with Dragon Ball, I like to see what I know to be the same. If they're making like a live action version of it, I want it to be the same.
Yes, of course.
Do you know
You
what I
do,
mean?
yeah.
I don't like it to differ too much. And when they're making like little changes like that with L's character in Death Note, I don't like it because it's not the character that I know, visually at least. And I think visually is a big part of it. Again,
Oh god, yeah.
just for me. I don't know about you. Obviously, it didn't bother you too much.
No, it's. I think I can see things past like that, like the Titans live action version. That they've hired people of different colours for certain roles. It hasn't bothered me. I've enjoyed
they did
it.
that with Starfire.
Yeah. I've really enjoyed it for what it is. I know fans are saying that people should stick to original source material for where it gets it, but I'm open-minded in terms of I accept it. I've enjoyed Titans. I'm looking forward to the new season of Titans. It has drawn me in, and it is not up there as one of my favourite TV shows, but it's one up there that I can keep going back to watch a new series.
I would like to say, just to preface this, it has nothing to do with skin preferences or anything like that. It's purely
source material.
Visually.
It's source material.
Like I was saying with Master Roshi, he's got a beard and a bald head, and they just flipped it. The dude has a beard. Give him a beard. Do you know what I mean? So and Bulma with blue hair, give her some blue hair. Don't give her black hair. Why would you make that change? I don't understand it.
No, and I get that.
So it does bother me. Not too much that I thought, he's not the right colour. I don't like this.
No.
But
it's not how you know that character to be.
Yeah, that was a little niggle. I'm just thinking, I don't know why they made that change, but aside from that, I know we're getting on to a bit of a tangent about Death Note here, but aside from that, I just thought the story of Death Note was terrible. I did like Ryuk.
Yes.
Voiced
very well
by, I forget his name now, did Green Goblin in Spider-Man.
Oh,
that
yes,
guy.
I know what you mean. Yeah. In the first Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Good actor.
I forget his name now. Anyway, yeah, he was very, very good. Best part about that series.
I agree.
Anyway.
Now it's time for Challenge Lewis. I feel like in the future, when, we actually have excess money to spend on this podcast, we'll have a good intro, and we'll also have a good intro to Challenge Lewis with maybe a bit of a jingle afterwards, but it's time for Challenge Lewis. So, for anyone who doesn't know what Challenge Lewis is we challenge Lewis on his knowledge of all things Marvel from the comics, based around some Marvel comic cards I was given to me from Christmas from my lovely partner.
Shout out to Callie.
Thank you very much for these. They are getting some use out of them. So I'm going to shuffle the cards. I'm going to let Lewis pick one of 5 from random. I will ask him questions based on what he picks. If he gets all 3 correct, he is not an idiot. But if he gets less than 3 correct, someone out there who's listening, who's not my mum, will be entitled to win a free A Nerd to the Wise mug. All you've got to do is message us with #Lewis is a dum-dum, and you will get access to his free mug. But only if he gets less than full marks. So I'm going to shuffle them now. You pull it here.
Shuffle.
Are you excited this time?
I don't like how I've got to get every single one. It bothers me.
That's because you're not smart enough. But it's only 3 questions.
Right.
If you didn't hear last week, Lewis had to have questions on Scarlet Witch, which he got 2 right. So someone has won a mug, maybe, if they're listening. If that was you, congratulations. Pick a card.
That one.
Right, let's pick this one. Lewis, this week you will be questioned on Black Panther.
Oh, God. I don't even like Black Panther that much.
This first one is triple choice. It's multiple choice. And if you don't get it, then you are actually at Lewis.
Wakanda.
Lewis
Wakanda.
Lewis is Wakanda. Who is the leader of Wakanda? Is it Iron Man, Ant-Man, or Black Panther?
Black Panther.
Correct.
Hey.
True or false? The Black Panther is T'Challa, son of T'Chaka.
Yes.
Correct.
I thought it was more.
That is true.
Yeah.
What gives? This is a question, obviously.
And you're about to get the answer.
What gives the Black Panther his enhanced strength and senses? Is it a special heart-shaped herb, a special foot-shaped herb, or a special hand-shaped herb?
Oh, God.
Is the herb heart-shaped, hand-shaped, or foot-shaped?
I'm going to say hand? Heart. I'm saying heart.
Are you sticking to heart or are you sticking with hand?
I don't know. Yeah.
Gut instinct
heart.
or change? Heart.
Yeah, I'm going to change your heart.
You're correct.
Yay!
You've got all 3 Black Panther questions correct.
Screw you, not
which means There's no hashtag Lewis is a dum-dum.
Yeah.
It's hashtag Lewis is a smarty pants.
Smarty pants. Finally.
And that pretty much concludes episode 2 of the A Nerd to the Wise podcast. We hope
Ashamed to admit
again...
that was more tense than it ever should have been.
I know. And I'm showing Lewis the amount of cards that are in this deck. There's a lot of questions to go.
500 more episodes.
And I'm pretty sure there's about 6 of these about Ant-Man.
About 400 cups to order.
So, I will once again thank you all for listening to the Nerd to Wise podcast. I'll finish this as always by saying you can find us on any of the popular social medias. That includes YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all with the @ANerdToTheWise, all one word, and doesn't matter on the casing of the letters. If you are listening to us on our YouTube channel, the links to our social media will be in the description below this video. If you are listening on your favourite podcast stations, including Spotify, Amazon, and Google Podcasts and Apple, you will be able to access us just by searching on them. Next week, we will be looking into more of the upcoming things. We're hoping to tackle more things Falcon and looking at live action film and TV shows. So, I will say thank you once again from me.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It's been a pleasure.
And we will speak to you again next week. Cue outro music. There's no outro music.
Outro music.